Good morning and welcome to today's episode of the Sports Break. I'm Renee Washington with Kwame Fisher-Jones, and it is Thursday, July 13th, the day after the ESPYs. So last night, we'll get right into one of our favorite topics of the ESPYs.
I saw that.
Last night, I didn't.
You rubbed your hands, let me tell you.
Last night, host Peyton Manning roasted Kevin Durant. He made a joke about the gymnastics team, that Kevin Durant was going to join the gymnastics team because they were good. Something that he may or may not have been accused of doing with the Warriors. And Kevin Durant was not having it. If you saw, he was trying so hard to mean mug at the camera the entire time. He didn't crack a smile. No, it's not. But I can't do what he was doing.
That's funny.
Russell Westbrook, Peyton Manning threw it to him, asked for his opinion. He looked like he was trying not to smile
Yeah,
also.
like he was trying not to laugh. Yeah.
Is this joke ever going to get played out that Kevin Durant went and joined a top team like the Warriors?
No, and the madder he gets, the more people are going to use it. You don't get to dictate when the joke is over. Like, how pretentious is that? You don't get to say, that's not funny anymore. Like, who does that? That's it. You said some people he may or may not did that. That's what he did. He went to the team that allowed him to win a title without him having to do any heavy lifting. So that's the price you pay. It was just funny to me, seeing it, that Peyton really could care less about your feelings. Okay. And he continued on with the joke and said, you know, you wouldn't start for that team, and then incorporated Russell Westbrook, who I can't tell was trying like to do like this to not laugh, or like maybe he saw what he had on camera. It was like, oh, somebody should have told me that
he
the blouse looked
dresses like that.
It looks like you remember the scene in the Dave Chappelle show when it says Charlemagne was dressed like a woman. Everybody said, yo, Prince got this dope woman, and it turned out to be a guy in the group, and it's like blouses. No, it's not. Man, that man knew he left the house in a blouse. Someone should have told him.
He's trying to be a trendsetter.
No, well, he's not.
Outfit.
He's awful. He's a tragedy. That's what he is. A grown man with a blouse on and no undershirt in July in L.A. He's just sweating and dripping and through. Anyway, I digress. The point is, no, the joke will never get old. That's what Kevin Durant did, and the madder he gets, the more tantrums he throws, the more people are going to make fun of him. You're going to see trending throughout social media all day Kevin Durant memes. When your mother won't make you food, or when she tells you it's not going down, or when you're waiting for your ride and you see them drive by with a car full of people, like it's gonna be memes. The Kevin Durant meme is gonna be the new meme out there. So no.
Yeah, I think if you type Kevin Durant, if you type in the ESPYs in Twitter, you will get Kevin Durant.
And
all that happened in the show,
and
he probably is one of the most talked about
and
parts of the show.
And he showed up with his mom.
You know how everyone loves talking about his mom.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, come on, man. You couldn't get a date? Like, you couldn't find somebody to take other than you. And I'm not trying to diss his mother, beautiful woman, that's great. But at some point, there's like you need to have a woman and not your mother with you. Because the woman would look at you and go, I said that earlier before we left. You know what I mean? So it's just funny. But yeah, answer your question, I'm all over the place. I don't think the joke is ever going to end because that's what he did, and that's part of the game. It's how the ball bounces, it's how the cookie crumbles. So.
Yeah. I mean, I know people were saying the joke wasn't that funny, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no, it was hilarious.
It's because it's Peyton Manning that people were laughing. Well, yes, it's because it was him, but also it's because he said it. And he said what everyone else thinks.
And he said it to his face. You're there. I'm making fun of you. The cameras are ready. Like,
he didn't tweet it. He didn't say it behind his back. Kevin Durant.
Here's another thing. You don't know the joke is coming. You don't see the cameras come running around you like, yo, hold up. This is not a drill. It's going down. Let me clear the block. They're not gonna make fun of me. I'm gonna ruin their joke. Something you don't see that happening. You just he had it coming, and I hope he's the running joke forever.
Yeah, I don't think it will ever get old.
Nope, and he's lucky they won. Well, I won't say lucky, but the fact that they won allows it to calm down.
Good point.
So, yeah.
Very good point. It would have been way worse if he ran to the Warriors and they lost, and all that was for nothing.
Would have been great for us, though.
I would have loved it. You're going to wear my Cavs colors today? I definitely would have loved it.
I think Russell had that blouse on. No, that's not a shot at the blouse. I'm just saying, like, no, for you as a woman, good choice. Him as a man, bad choice.
All right.
There's no such thing as unisex once you're past like baby age. When you can talk.
Unisex romper?
No.
All right, moving on.
Romper. That doesn't even sound like a man attire. I've seen that. And they wear the shoes with no socks. That's another thing. As men, when did we
not a fashion show.
When did we become okay to undershirts. Wear sweaters. You wear an undershirt. It's like, I don't want to sit in your sweat when I leave because you think it's cool to not. Then they don't do the baby. This is just a mess right now. Masculinity should not be a trend. It should be a necessity in life. So, like I said, you, good choice. Look nice. Russell, no. Somebody just told him, no, Russell. Go put a shirt on with buttons or something. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Or a collar.
Rant.
Or a collar. And I like Russell Westbrook.
Menswear is changing.
All you needed was
rapidly.
one of those long pipes that the French dudes used to wear back in the day with the cigarette at the like that long stick with the cigarette at the end, and he's sitting there with he had the Dwayne Wayne glasses on.
Those need to be burned.
Whoever
that needs to never be sold again.
I know I'm all over the place.
You are. This is a sports show, and now we're talking about fashion. So let's get back into sports.
Right,
also at the ESPYs last night, on the red carpet, Richard Sherman said to Jalen Rose that it's time for NFL players to strike. Mm-hmm. In order for them to be able to get the salaries that they get, that the NBA players and the Major League Baseball players are getting, they need to be willing to lose some money, sit out some games, and stand together. And for the NBA, they had the 2011 lockout, and now we're seeing, all free agency period, you've been seeing six-figure contracts being thrown out left and right. And as an NFL player, they're seeing it too. So what do you think has to happen? Is a strike necessary to get the NFL salaries to the point of being like the NBA or the Major League Baseball players' salaries?
This is a tough topic. And not tough because it's serious, but it's tough because the nuances that go into it are very serious. First of all, to answer your question specifically, Renee, Richard Sherman is right. They do need to take some sort of overt action to ensure that they get the compensation that they should get. The NFL is a billion-dollar industry. There is not $1 billion NFL player. That's unacceptable. Mm-hmm. That's unacceptable. Players play under the helmets of anonymity. They don't get an opportunity to get the endorsements that other players and other athletes get. But the bigger issue is it won't work. Mm-hmm. And first, what you'll see is, I'll lay the blueprint down for you. The first thing is the media talking points by certain people in the media will be that, well, Joe Schmo's barely making $40,000, so he's not going to feel sorry. No one feels sorry for you, Richard Sherman, because you get $40 million, or you get $2 million, or $3 million. That's going to be the first thing you hear. That's going to be the media talking points by selected members of the media. Then you're going to have the sheep come out, which are the players that say, my mother barely made $40,000, and we shouldn't be talking about what we don't have. We should appreciate what we do have. And that's death to any type of fight, any type of struggle, any type of aggression towards management, mm-hmm. because the sheep are the ones that are counterproductive. If you have, and it's, to me it hits home because as a person who works in an industry that's dictated by salaries and accomplishments, the more accomplished you are, the higher your salary is. It is frustrating when you have people that are willing to work for less and who are willing to take less than market value. Okay. It hurts you. And when you see other athletes getting more and your sport is more dangerous, right. It has the shortest season, but it has the longest lifetime effects. Yeah. You know what I mean? It has the biggest tear on your body. It's not a sport that's played throughout the world. Mm-hmm. So it is essentially a monopoly where you can't go. If you're not good enough to play in the NBA, you can go to Europe, you can go to China, you can supplement that income. Hockey, the same thing. You can go to Canada and play in hockey. Mm-hmm. In baseball, obviously you can go Cuba. You can make a living, not a substantial living, but you can make a living playing in the minor leagues. The fact of the matter is in football, you either play here or you don't play at all. Yeah. You're a weekend warrior.
Yeah, and free agent Terrence Knighton was saying that Green Bay Packer quarterback Aaron Rodgers should be making more than James Harden. James Harden was just signed a 5-year, $228 million contract. Yeah. And the hard part is when you break down the numbers, there are 14, 15 players on the NBA roster. There are way more players on an NFL roster. So, yes, the NFL, they may get more money as a league, but they have more players. So how is it, and I know in the NFL, the collective bargain agreement, whatever fancy word they have for it, is up in 2020. They're saying we can address it then, but it's 2017, and the fact is players want to get paid now. So how is it ever going to shake out where NFL players are getting that money? They would have to bring in even more money as a league to be able to ever match up with what the top 15 players are getting in the NBA.
Or the owners take less money. And that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I don't have
the
collective bargaining agreement in front of me, but I'm pretty sure of the 4 unions, the NFL Players Association or the NFL's union negotiated the smallest pie for the 4 major sports. And what that means is, in layman's terms, is, in the NBA players get 51%, the owners get 49%.
Right.
In baseball, I think the players get 55% and the owners get 45%. In football, I believe the players get 30 to 40% of the pie.
Whew.
And that doesn't include jersey sales, refreshments, parking fees, all of those things.
Right.
And keep in mind, of the world's most popular athletes, I think there's no NFL player in the top 20.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's tough.
Interesting.
Well, no, it's a great question by you, and it's a great pickup by you, because it is something that needs to be addressed. But the problem is, anytime you go against management, they find a sheep. They find a brand. I'm not going to go into personal experiences, but they will find somebody that looks like you, that sounds like you, or in some respect resembles you, to say that what you're saying doesn't work, and all they need is one.
Yeah.
And you'll always have that. Michael Jordan, I use this analogy all the time. When the NBA players were going to do a lockout, I think they did a lockout, and Michael Jordan retired. Michael Jordan was the only player in the NBA that made $30 million. Scottie Pippen made $9 million.
Yeah.
And Jordan told Abe Pollard, who owned the Wizards, if you can't afford your team, you need to sell. Fast forward, he goes and plays for the Wizards. It's you have to have your stars willing to force management's hand. And I use this analogy on the NBA Files every Saturday at 1:15 p.m. here on RVN TV. But yeah, shameless plug. Got her to laugh though, shameless plug. But I use this analogy. If Renee is the best in her industry, and you're willing to accept $10 below your market value, everybody that comes after you is negotiating $4 and $5. But if the market dictates you're worth 20, and you take 20, everyone under you who's not as good as Renee, they're negotiating $10 and $12. So that's how it works. It's sort of similar to like trickle down economics. I'm not going to bore everybody with it, but that's how it works. So when Sherman says we got to strike because Richard Sherman's making $41 million, Sherman isn't the guy you're talking about. Yeah. It's the guy that plays 3 years in the NFL and still has to have a part-time job, which exists. Yeah. There are guys in the NFL that don't have cars.
That's why I don't know how possible this is. I mean, you have in the NBA, if players are striking, let's say I'm LeBron James, Steph Curry, whoever, you're striking, you're speaking out on this, you're losing money maybe from the league, but you're still getting money from all of your other endorsements and businesses that you've invested in and things like that. Whereas NFL players that are not making that extra money from side businesses, if I'm a second string defensive lineman and we're striking and I have no endorsements and now I'm getting a pay cut, we're not playing, now what? So I mean, they have a lot of numbers and a lot of potential to make some noise because they have so many players in the league, but then they also have so many players in the league that need that money that they're making right now.
But the strong have to lead the weak, and Chris Paul is the head of the Players Association in the NBA. I don't know who the head of the Players Association is in the NFL.
No idea.
And for years it was Gene Upshaw, and then he died of pancreatic cancer. But it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. They ran Colin Kaepernick out of the league. Richard Sherman will be out of the league in 2 years.
That's the other thing I was thinking. And we have been hearing Richard Sherman more and more. He's always been vocal. He's someone that always speaks up about different things, whether it's going on with his team, in the league, whatever. But I wonder how much of this strike happening depends on the fact that the history of the NFL shows that if you speak up as a player, you're going to be blacklisted. Whereas other sports, baseball, basketball players have more flexibility, more leeway to talk about things going on in politics and talk about things going on, civil rights things, and they can still play. And they're not affected at all. So I don't know if this is possible. I don't know what we will see happen, but I do know that we need to take a break. That in this second is something that I do know. When we get back, we'll talk about some more news going on in college football and a very, very popular lemonade stand. And I feel like you're wearing lemonade right now. So don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Bubbles.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Cooked and Uncorked.
It is.
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30 every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Hi, I'm Jim Cucinato. I'm inviting you to watch my show on the Halo Health Network on RBN. We cover everything you always wanted to know about health but was afraid to ask. We have interesting guests who can help you how to live healthier, how you can be smarter about your health, how you can help your family live healthier and be healthier. We are on Tuesdays from 9:30 Eastern Time to 10 o'clock. Please come and watch us.
If you have a story or product that you'd like to share with our viewers as a guest on the Morning Coffee Show, please contact us at info@radiovisionnetwork.com.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Welcome back to the Sports Break. I'm Renee Washington here with Kwame Fisher-Jones, the man who never stops talking. And we're talking about the ESPYs before. Kevin Durant, Peyton Manning's joke, and also Richard Sherman speaking out on the NFL. But switching gears a little bit, let's talk about a former NFL player's son, Keyshawn Johnson Jr. He is a freshman, or should I say, he was a kind of freshman at the University of Nebraska for the football team. He actually joined early in the spring season to do spring training and got caught, allegedly, is now facing charges for marijuana possession. He pleaded not guilty to that charge, and he's now out of school. His father took him out of school, saying he wants him to mature somewhere before hopefully returning back to college. But all this happened before he was officially even a freshman and played a single game or preseason game on the field. That being said, is this something that, we've talked about college players getting in trouble before. Is this something that should be kind of plead guilty, deal with your charges,
No, he can't plead guilty because it'll follow him for the rest of his life. He's over 18 now. So if he pleads guilty and takes a plea deal, it could be in his record. They want to plead not guilty, and first of all, and I've told you this all the time, the punishment doesn't have to fit the crime. So, saying just take your punishment, the punishment ain't got to fit the crime. He could plead guilty, and they could do a plea deal of community service, but that's on his record. Keyshawn is looking at his son as a man, and if he wants to go get a job and he's got a conviction on his record, that may hurt him.
So what should he do?
He should do what his father made him do. And what his father made him do was get his, almost cursed, but get his butt out of school and force him to essentially get his mind right. I don't want to use an old man phrase, but get your mind right. You don't go to college and in an hour get caught with weed. Like, where they do that at? And Daddy probably had some apprehension about sending him that far anyway because he knew the maturity level of his boy. But yeah, he should have pled not guilty. He pleads not guilty. They work going to deal out, probably to a lesser charge, equivalent of like a parking ticket. Doesn't go on his permanent record, and he can progress in life. But the bigger issue is decision making. And as a father, there's one way to look at this, but as a black father, there's another way to look at this.
Yeah.
We don't get the benefit of a second chance. For every Michael Vick, there's a Rashawn Salam that you never hear about. Yeah. Or a, you know what I mean? There's so many players who squander that. A Michael Sam. You know, he didn't commit a crime, but he did something that brought attention to himself. And, you know, I'm not saying that, let me clear this. I'm not saying that that's a crime being, you know, the point is when you go against the norm or you go against the rules that have been set, right or wrong, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I applaud Keyshawn for doing this, and it's funny. Keyshawn doesn't get ripped. LeVar Ball gets ripped because he's out. You know, he's outward and always running his mouth. But you're talking about strong fathers who would put their children in situations where you have everybody taking. Everybody taking. I don't even know any of the kids who were arrested with him. I don't know if there were any kids, but we know Keyshawn Jr.'s behind was there. Keyshawn Johnson Jr. So I applaud him for doing that. It's a great story, and I hope that a lot of fathers who maybe don't have the financial resources of Keyshawn, but still take that whole smashing that, use a mallet to smash it, make a mountain out of a molehill. Yes. Make a mountain out of it. You know what I'm trying to say. Moral of the story is I hope they all attack with the same, don't judge me. Attack with the same aggression.
You always throw out these sayings, and I'm not a...
It's the Bill Cosby.
Ooh.
What? The guy, you know how Bill Cosby used to lean back and everyone talk about his...
Bill.
All right. I don't know where you're taking that, but I'll just leave you in your Russell Westbrook blossom.
Bill's in some heat, so...
Bill is in some heat. Now I got it. Light bulb just went off.
Yeah,
okay. It's like the
I don't know if you want to refer to Bill Cosby moment anymore.
It's like the storyteller in me. Good Lord.
Yes. I mean, it is hard for me to see in this scenario, and this happens, like you said, as a black, I'm obviously not a father or a man, but
I'm glad you cleared that up for us, as if there was any doubt. You know, sometimes somebody may, I doubt.
You never know.
Maybe I'll give Renee to stand up, so just says, no,
I'm not a father, but I am black. But there are some different standards that you want to hold your kids to.
Yes.
And I hate to say it, from one race to another. And we're seeing it even things as simple as a traffic stop. You know, I have a brother and I have a father, and they both drive, and they've never committed a crime, and they're educated, they're smart people, but if they get pulled over, they might get seen as a threat or violent or someone that's being aggressive, and somebody else may not have to deal with that. That's not the same color. So there are, unfortunately, I don't know if this will ever change, but there are different standards for how you have to live your life depending on the skin that you're in.
It's not unfortunate, and the reason why I say that is culturally, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but culturally, we should embrace our differences. And,
that's also true.
You know, there's positives and negatives. You know, like, I'm going to try to bring it down on a much lighter note. Thai food. There's a difference between Thai food and Japanese food.
Very true.
You know, it's Asian cuisine, but there's a difference there. Some people like Thai food, some people prefer Japanese food. That doesn't mean Thai food isn't good. That doesn't mean that there should be some negative connotation. That doesn't mean Japanese is better. It just means your particular cultural experiences. Okay. So that's all I'm saying. And it's not, I don't like to use the word unfortunate because we have to raise our children different than perhaps someone that is of Jewish descent.
Yeah, and there will always be those differences. And that's the thing that I don't think enough people realize. If we get rid of racial differences or gender differences, there's still going to be financial differences. There's still going to be education differences. I have a master's, you don't. I have a doctorate degree, you don't. I'm just throwing out examples. I do happen to have a master's degree, but I'm just throwing out examples. See, you got offended.
Me? I'm not offended.
But what I'm saying is, you can't break. There is no way that we, as a society, can ever be on the same playing field. Financially, you know, education-wise, racially. I mean, no matter how much we try to make everyone the same, we're always going to be different, which is something that is, as you say, something we should embrace and something that's a positive.
Everything has
that being said, we're going to switch gears a little bit. There is one little girl, we're moving on from that topic. There is one little girl, a very special 12-year-old, and she has a Me and the Bees lemonade stand. Her name is Michaela Ulmer. If you haven't heard about her, please.
Good job. Give me a high five on that. High five. There you go. Good job on that. Look at you.
If you haven't heard about, I don't know what I'm doing, but what I do.
Good job. You got her name. I didn't know all that. I just know it was a girl on a lemonade stand. And you like.
You haven't heard of her?
No, that's why Miss Masters just got a high five.
Michaela Ulmer has been very popular in social media and the news lately because she took her great-grandmother's sweet honey or lemonade with honey recipe from the 1940s and put together, doesn't that sound good? Put together a lemonade stand because she wants to try to fight for colonies, bee colonies, or, I know, the only thing is the cause. But she's 12. What 12-year-old, what is she going to fight for? I mean,
more
yes.
TV time. Ice cream.
She's 12 years old
dinner.
and she's fighting for the bees. So, Omer and the bees, she's now has NFL players investing in her lemonade stand. 8 of them, I think it was, or 10 of them, sorry, came together and...
Really?
Yes, it was 10 of them put up a combined $810,000 for a lemonade stand.
That's why they go broke. That's a horrible investment.
So those players came forward saying that they wanted to invest in a young entrepreneur, a promising young entrepreneur with a good cause. That's Michaela. So you're grimacing over here because
I love it because you're trying so hard to be serious about a cause for bees. Like you're laughing.
Bees are very important to society.
See, that's
it's
why
not cancer. It's not brain surgery.
That's
but
this is why
every single part
top dollar for her pay because she has you.
Every single part of our environment does something to keep it together. And those little bumblebees that fly around. Well, I don't like them, so I don't know what they do because they creep me out. But I'm saying everything from ants to people to animals to trees and plants.
What do possums
everything eat your trash.
No, that's raccoons. What do possums
eat trash?
Do they?
I'm like literally picturing their faces right now. Like,
you can always bring Miss Masters back down to my level. I can always bring Miss Masters back down to my level. That's a great story. I heard about it. And I thought, I knew Arian Foster was one of the players that invested. And I'm all for players investing once they're done playing.
Why? Wait till you're done playing.
Because you can't... People that are great at something spend time. I swear I remember. They spend the time to get better at it.
Okay.
If you're playing, you got practice, you got film sessions. You don't have the time to put into learning how to invest in a product or learning how the market works. So you're essentially giving somebody money to do a job that you need to do yourself because it's your money. Just hire an accountant because an accountant's job is not going to tell you, you should invest in honey lemonade. The accountant's job is going to say you're spending too much money. This is where your money's going. And when you're done, take the courses that businessmen take to learn how to maximize your funds. Invest that same time and energy in playing it.
I do agree in the sense that we agree a lot. Stop it. I agree in the sense that when you have a spot, you're wearing a lemonade shirt, so I don't want to hear it. You're dressed for the theme. You're dressed for the topic. When you are a player that's popular, you have, as the saying goes, you need to strike while the iron's hot. So while I agree. So while you are in the spotlight, that's the time that you should be learning how to properly invest, learning how to get your business. You're agreeing, but you're shaking your head no?
No, because I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm not agreeing with you. It's a great point.
But I'm saying I don't like the large investment. I like that she's 12 and they wanted to help out a young girl that has dreams, and she is helping the environment. But what I do think, and what I'm agreeing with you on, is that players need to learn while they're going through the period of being a top player in the league or being a professional athlete, start investing in yourself. Start doing things so that when you do retire, you're going to set yourself up to now step into a job as a GM or a job as a reporter or a job, some type of career after that, so that when you do stop, because it will end for everyone at some point, it's not like, what do I do now? All I know how to do is play basketball. All I know how to do is play football.
But you have a lifetime. You're older a lot longer than you're younger. So you retire, let's say at 35, let's say 40. You still got 30 years to grow. And you have a maturity level and a spirit about you that is conducive to growing. You don't want to dabble in money in your 20s. You don't want to do it.
Don't dabble.
But
learn.
You can't learn in your 20s. Your mindset in your 20s is to be the best basketball player, soccer player you can be. That's where your linear focus needs to be. If you divert that attention, so everything has a price. Something gives. So you may not be the best you could be because you're up late studying. I'm telling you, there may be an isolated incident, If you want
I'm
to.
saying, what I mean is, rather than being 25 and all you're doing is playing, partying, playing, getting in trouble, playing, doing whatever, how about you play, invest time in your family, and then spend some of that. Yes, you go party, you have fun, but also maybe read up on something. Maybe it doesn't take a long time to learn. I'm not saying you have to enroll in a 4-year college degree.
Give me somebody who's been successful in business while they played.
Okay, I'll do you one better. Pau Gasol.
Okay.
How many degrees does he have?
I don't know.
He has like 4 or 5.
And
his career may not have been that of a LeBron James or Michael Jordan, but he's still playing.
Mm-hmm.
And when when he's done playing, he now is going to be able to step into something. And he's set himself up nicely. And I don't think enough players realize that you have time to do something. I'm not saying you have to take every waking minute of your free time that you're not on the court or training and put it into an investment in studying or learning how to become an entrepreneur or an investor. But start chipping away some time to put into yourself so that now when let's say you get injured, let's say you have to retire because of health conditions, you have something to fall back on. And I don't think enough players have that backup plan.
I agree with you. I agree with your premise, but I disagree with your point, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And Pau is a good, that's why I asked you for an example of somebody. Pau was probably one of the greatest international players that ever played the game. But his career may have been better, we'll never know, ifs, woulds, and coulds, and bricks on the road to failure. But the bottom line is, an isolated incident or isolated situations don't dictate the norm.
Okay.
And players can do so much more for the league and for their careers if they were to just focus on that and just get an account. I believe they should budget.
And that investment could be something, maybe not the BBB brand, but maybe making some type of, make a shoe, do something, get involved in
friends.
Okay.
Let your friends, like LeBron did. Let your friends be your investment.
Exactly. It doesn't have to just be an education investment or becoming some type of investor, but you can invest in yourself, as you said that like 3 times in one sentence, without having to put in all that time. And I think that's where you're overlooking. You're overlooking exactly how much can be done. If you're a big professional player, or just a professional player in general, you can put out a clothing line, a shoe brand, something to help starting to get that process rolling of getting yourself involved in business. I think you should do it.
It's a slippery slope, and some people can maintain not to slip, but I just think it's not something you should do. And I can tell you from experience, it's easy as hell to get money. It's hard as hell to keep money.
Yeah.
And that's. So when you get it, if you're diligent about how you spend it, if you're prudent and judicial about the sources that you use, but it is. I don't think an athlete should be focused on.
Okay.
I just think they should be focused on winning and being the best player they could be, and they've got years to build that wealth afterwards.
All right.
Good show by you today, though.
I will end it with this. I would just say it would be nice if they do like Ice Cube's doing. Ice Cube had his career. He rapped. He was
Ice Cube also went into
and then turned into
went after
acting in business.
A&R with a baseball bat.
All right, Ice Cube is Ice Cube. So he's a cool dude.
Oh wow.
Ice Cube.
Yeah, cool. I got it. You don't need to.
But I'm saying at some point you start putting your name in things. You start producing. And whatever that looks like on your level.
And somebody told
for everyone, not just professional athletes, for everyone.
But someone told us
your hand in different pots.
Raps, you can write movies, and that's why. So for Are We There Yet?
Right.
And Anaconda, we got Boys and Girls.
Yes. So unfortunately, we are out of time. We're running out of time. We can't be here forever. People have things to do. It's the morning time. Go work out. Go eat brunch. Go.
They have got you've got nothing better to do than listen to Renee Washington on the morning coffee. Don't tell them that lie.
I agree, but I got to give them. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand. I can't overdo it. They have to want more. So you'll be back tomorrow to get more.
Yes.
But for now, that's it. Tomorrow morning we'll be back here 9 o'clock with a special guest. Kwame will not be here. Unfortunately. We'll have a special guest tomorrow morning, and of course you can always see more episodes of this show and our other RVN sports shows on Facebook, on rvntv.tv, where they're live streaming all of our shows, and for more excitement you can always check those out. That being said, I'm Renee Washington, joined by Kwame Fisher-Jones. Hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow morning.